All right, for this equation, we have y is greater than or equal to 3. So first up, you'd want to graph a line which is an equality. So just look for the line y equals 3. And that line is going to be where y is 3. And the y is 3 right here on the y number line. You could write it as y equals 0x, which tells you that the slope is 0. So we should expect a flat line. And let's see if I can, that's not my worst line. It's not straight, but it's not my worst. And the next thing we would want to do is to make sure that this is a solid line. To do that, we would go to the inequality and see, oh, it does have the equal sign, which means every point on this line will make this original inequality a true statement. Now, this also means that we now need to shade. So see how it's eating the y? That's fine. And so if you understand what that means, that's fine. It'll reveal itself. But in any case, what I recommend is students test the ordered pair, the origin. Okay, at least if it's not on the line. And this one's not on the line, so you can test it. Well, what does that tell us? It tells us x is 0. Now there's no 0 or x to replace as a 0 in this equation, but there is a corresponding y value that's 0. So if I were to do that, I would replace the y with 0, and then I would see if 0 is greater than or equal to 3. Well, that's not. That's false. And since it's false, you have to shade the other side of the line. This one came out false. And since it's on this side of the line, I'm going to call that below the line. That means that I would now need to shade above the line, which is going to be up here. Now, yeah, you guys can probably shade that much better than I am. However you do it is up to you. Just keep in mind when you're taking an exam, you want to make sure that you shade this in a specific way. So like if you're just using a pencil, it would just be black, right? Just make sure that it shows very clearly to your professor or your teacher that that's where you want to shade. Some students like to crosshatch, something like this. Again, just as long as your professor or teacher understands, oh, clearly they mean to shade in here. Of course, some students in the past in my class have actually brought colored pencils, different colored pens. Markers are not usually good because they'll go through the paper, but if that's what you wanted to do, you could do that. But that's the graph for this equation, y is greater than or equal to 3.